Hello and welcome back to my channel, Checks Capture Threats. Today's episode we're now doing game 16 of the Rapid Increase. So we won last time out again, so it's 2 wins in a row. Hopefully we can carry that on. Now we're 1780, close to 1800. So let's see how we go. So, someone again from Indonesia. It does say he's offline at the minute, so this could be an abandoned or aborted first game, should I say. Oh no, he might be here. No, he is here. Okay, so he's going to play e4. So we're going to play our French defence as usual. Hopefully soon we can maybe play the Sicilian and that when we do the openings in the next few weeks. Advanced French. So obviously remembering we forced to play c5. Now he's going to play c3. Some normal moves now being played here. Nothing too out of the blue. Okay, this move does happen. I feel like maybe a tiny bit early. But what this does is this kind of forces me in a bit of a predicament already, because I kind of want to play this, but I feel like that might be early. But I actually do think we're still going to play this. Now the reason for this is if this happens, we have another protector. So it's 2-on-2 right now. Okay, so obviously that's to stop this b2 thing happening. So, now we have a bit of an idea now. The only annoying thing this has with me is that this is a bit of a struggle. So we're going to make this bishop move first. And we might have to do some training soon. What I might do here is actually that f4 move again, very useful one. We might even bring our rook quite quickly out here. I think what we're gonna do is capture and then bring our rook to c8. A little bit unconventional right now, but I think we're gonna give this a go. I feel like this actually looks pretty decent. As if he takes that, it would obviously been a nicer trade. Now we can actually do that a bit later, to be fair, because we're always gonna have that him protect that pawn. So maybe a knight move now. Maybe even a bishop check. We actually have everything right now kind of in a very nice position. So if we put this bishop out, that kind of does that though, which I don't really fancy. So I think we try and get our knight to f5 here. As the saying, knight on f5 will thrive. Let's hope it does. Now we could technically have won this pawn, but I do think that's going to not win it really after this move here. I think too many things on it and it wouldn't have ended well. Now he's going to stop this move, so we don't have to go there. And we can actually play our normal move here, knight to g6. That is quite the usual one. Now if he takes, we just take back with our h-pawn and we're fine. Now we could give a check, but again I still don't like this. We probably won't put out just yet. I think we're going to put our rook now here. Now we're going to show, now we have some sort of attack now going on. Now there is all sorts of things you could do, and that is very close. Holy, with this bishop move, and it allows, but he's just about got that, and it still doesn't even look the best at that. But I think we're gonna play this bishop move, get at least the bishop out here. You know, I think we're gonna play that. I don't think we want. The only thing I have is we could get the knight out here, but I think this capture, we do then win this. Already quite low on time. Again, a minute below what we should be, but. So if we play this, they play this, take. So we do with this pawn. Now, my guess there is after this, they're going to play, you know, capture this or something. But after take, then they're going to threaten this here. And then if they castle, I think we will play this knight move. I like this. See, I was immediately thinking about playing the bishop move, but now we might think about something else here. So it's going to do this knight now. Now this is where I think could be a mistake already. He's very lucky he's got this bishop here. As we capture check, they take, we actually do win this pawn. Attack these two pieces, which forces this rook move here. So we're going to play it now. Okay, so we're going to take this pawn. So there's a few things he's got to be careful about this rook and this here. So he's forced to play that. Oh, that's a blunder, I think, from him. As surely we can just capture this. He's going to capture back. And we just capture his rook. Now, I'm just having a look here. This captures here. It's going to look weird, but we could just bring our rook back down. So, we're just going to win this knight here. This could be a very early on win here now. Let's not make sure we don't do anything stupid now. So, he's going to win this pawn. That's okay. But we're actually probably isn't going to win the pawn actually, because obviously his bishop's being attacked now. So he's going to have to play a move like this, and we're just going to bring our rook down here If they try this, we have pushed the pawn up. So we're just completely up a piece now. So we're just going to bring our rook down to here, I think. Actually, hold on, let's think. Now we could do this because I just don't like this check. I don't want to move the king up. So let's just bring our rook down here. Now obviously we have this push. So nothing there. And he's just going to castle. I think we're going to have to bring our bishop up now. And we're just going to castle as soon as possible. He's going to try and double up. We can always push. But that's a huge blow for him. So we just got to make sure no mistakes. He can easily still come back to this game, but we're 4 points up. I was always confused why he was not moving proper moves at that point, but I think he didn't realise the double attack I had. So, now, looks like we're just going to castle. We haven't got anything really on to try and win the pawn. I'm expecting him to try and double up rooks maybe. His knight's not in the best position. His bishop isn't. He's now moving another pawn in front of his king. My guess is that he's going to try some sort of kingside attack. It's probably his only wish. Try something. Now we're just going to castle, get protection, and we're going to probably try and double up. I think firstly we might even try and put our knight on h4, attacking his knight, as there actually is very little squares for him, as we're obviously protected with our bishop. But maybe we go rook onto the 7th rank, attacking their pawn. It's just these we've just got to be careful of. We want to use these pawns to our, want to succeed with them. So he's now going to here. So if you're going to watch our video we just come out with when to trade, this would be a very good time. We're winning, we're up, and we're going to just trade here. Being a piece up, I'm going to trade this quite quickly. Yes, it opens up his rook, but he's double pawned as well. That's going to be difficult to try and override with. And I think we're just going to push this pawn here. Stop this, being attacked. So now we can play this move here. Now he's going to attack our rook. That's fine. We're just going to double up. And now he might try and get his... It's a nice square, getting that bishop there, but he just doesn't do that much. We're just going to play onto the 7th rank. Get our knight in. If it tries to push, we can always just try and do this rerouting. That's going to be something good. We can even get our bishop all the way up to this square at the minute. We could nearly force through. So he's going to play that. We're just going to play the 7th rank then. Now, straight away, we do need to just be careful of back rank checkmate. That's the main thing as well. We do not want to give that away. That would be a very silly, silly blunder from us. So, might honestly just push here. We'll open up the whole king side, but it's probably our best bet. Now, we are attacking this pawn, obviously. We're also attacking this pawn in the long run. I just got to be careful because if he's going to sack, he might sack this pawn to try this. So, there we go. That's a good start. Those sort of starts, if you can get that, even though, that time he just didn't see it, but again, something like that, you see that, that already will raise, we was able to now have this sort of position, and again, he wants to trade. Really surprised with all this. Now, what we can actually do here is this rook take, and then we can actually still win the pawn here. Now, obviously, after this check, after this check, he's going to move, we win the pawn. Now he's going to play this rook move here, try to go for this, maybe even 7th rank. So we've just got to be careful about that. We can always push the pawn. I might actually just push the pawn now just to be safe. Actually, let's just be safe. We don't need to play precautions. He's got to move the king anyway, or take and then move the king, should I say. So that's all good. Now he's actually not even going to protect it. I don't know what's happening here. I can see why he's trying to pin and then push the pawn, but we can always just move our king there. So what we're going to do is just give a check here. Now I've just got to be careful. This is a very bad bishop at the minute still, but we can make it a lot better in a second. We're going to play this capture here. He might have actually been also trying to look at this, but we was always going to have this covered. And okay, so he's going to move this now, which we can do this. If there's a check here, we just move here. There's no other checks on. And we're putting pressure on this, so we're going to do that as so. See here, this is our attack. We're creating such a big attack. He has to defend at every move almost, and he's not played with the right moves for most of them, so he's going to give us a check. Move on to the white squares still, means this can't give us at least a check. Now this is kind of locked onto this line, and also it can actually only move between these two lines, so they're going to struggle here. These pawns are all locked in, and all we're going to do is move this. So he's going to move his bishop. He's going to try something like this. We have got to be careful of this. This is the only thing I will say that might be a bit annoying. But we can actually just bring this back here, and that won't be too much trouble. We might even let him do that bishop thing first here, actually. We have got to make a move. And we're just going to move this here. I'm expecting this, and we're just going to bring our knight back. He might try and push a pawn. We can always push the pawn as well. Now, actually, we could even brew this knight move now, actually, because there's a check. We block it, and we're actually putting pressure on this. So we're actually going to play an even better move there. So you've got to just be careful. You've got to think every time here. There could be moves like this. So you see, this is what we call a fork. Now, it's not the best fork, because obviously we are attacking a rook with one of them, but we're attacking a protected bishop with the other. So it just means we're going to trade, which in this scenario is still perfect for us. So here, we're just going to trade. Not even going to think about it. We are up. We want to carry this on. Now, he should take with the rook. We're just going to have to protect here. Protect this pawn. Now, he's actually going to take with the pawn again. I think that's another mistake. Could have easily had this. But we're just going to play a rook move here. Now, we have got this pawn, soon. Now, he's just going to try this. He's going to try this check, actually. That's quite smart. Blocking us off. But I still don't think that's going to do enough. And we're actually just going to push this up to, I think we can't get this pawn just yet. So I'm going to expect the check. I should have seen that. That was my mistake. I will say that. Now, we can just attack. There's a check. We just play this. And he might try and win a few pawns here. We have so much in the lead. We're 4 points in the lead. If our bishop goes, that's when we worry. But our bishop hasn't gone yet, and it looks like we can trade pawns. What I'm looking at here is capture, capture. We move the bishop there. It just doesn't look too nice. So my guess is we actually just going to play something like this here. We could actually just go really defensive, actually, and just play this. Actually, yeah, I much prefer that. Yes. Yes, because if he pushes, we just take. So what we do there is, if he tries to do a pin, we bring our king up, and now he takes there. We're just going to play this lovely bishop move, which absolutely gets rid of everything here possible. Protects this pawn, stops this. He's going to give us a check. He's going to then pin us. We're just going to play this king move up here now, and win his pawn, hopefully. So, as so. Now, this is looking like a winning game. Just got to be careful with our time. We are 2 minutes below, but it seems like we've done it for a good reason. He's made this a bit difficult for us, which obviously you've got to get used to. I've kind of done this maybe in a messier way, but there is that. Now, we don't have to take this pawn. I would like to take this pawn first before he protects anything. This isn't going to... I will sacrifice. I will trade these pawns here. The only thing we've just got to be careful is these 2 pawns will be quite dangerous. So he's actually going to go for this one now. Just going to push. Now he's just going to go back or something. No, he's actually going to play this now. I think we're just going to take. Win that pawn up now. He's going to move his king up. This is where we can play a check. Now, if he plays this move, this is a killer move, and it will be checkmate with a pawn, but he doesn't play it. That's a shame. That would have been quite fun. But he's instead going to play this, which we're just going to push. Make sure we don't do things, and make sure there's no stalemate. Now, luckily in this scenario, he can't. If he tries to sack it, he will have to push this pawn, and then we take, and then there'll be checks we can create here. So, a win here, by the way, only puts us 5 points away from from the 1800. He said 1900 there. Now, I think we're just going to move this pawn up now. Yeah. There, check. Just making sure there's no sort of stalemate ideas. We're now just going to get our king moving. Annoyingly, I want to try and get that, but we can't. Push the pawn, I think, here. Just going to play this check. We're just going to block. Check. We'd still take. It's a little bit messy right now, but yeah, I still think we're pretty much in the clear. It's just very weirdly done. He's going to move this again here. Now, annoyingly, we're kind of in a Zug's-Waiting situation where I want to push this pawn, and it does seem like we actually could, and I might try it, and we are. It looks weird, but if he takes, this is checkmate. If he pushes, we go up, and I think whatever he plays, other than maybe like a capture here, so just going to move up here, and if he plays this, it's checkmate. Now, the only annoying thing here is that this bishop now doesn't protect this pawn, but that shouldn't be too much of a worry. Here, he might just try and play a rook move down or something. And we might actually make this king move up. Again, that still doesn't do it. It's very weird. Still trying to get it. And he's going to play this move here. Now, could just play king move actually down here. Now, this is very nice actually. So if he gives us a check, we capture. But if we capture, it would have been stalemate, but that's fine, wouldn't have mattered. Now this capture here is in fact going to be checkmate. I'm pretty sure. Yep, and that is checkmate. A bit messy at the end, but we got there in the end. So, phew, bit tense sometimes there. But 88.2% accuracy we got there. He made mistakes. Obviously, we saw that one big blunder he had. Quickly go through it. But e4 that normal French advanced here. You know, this is all but moved from there. This was a mistake there. Now, we should have captured the pawn. I feel it was too risky due to I didn't like this. Now, what they're going to say is you could have played this. But it just looks a bit too much piled on to this pawn. And this is actually an inaccuracy. But it still says we are 3 points up. But I still don't like it. So, we are still up in this position by a huge lot. They didn't like these sort of moves at the start. They didn't even like this one, but that's because now we play it a little bit later on. They play the big blunder here where we capture, and we're actually still winning in this position, they say here, because even after this, we actually, hopefully, we probably wouldn't have seen this, and there was this bishop move that I think wins it anyway, because if they play a bishop move here, I'm pretty sure we can just take. Unless actually maybe rook takes, maybe stops it all. But that bishop move would have won us, so there is that. Now we take here, so we are up, and this is where a little bit messy, I would say, from here onwards, but, you know, it's just trying to swap everything off. And here, we got a little bit messy, I would say, from here, because I didn't know what was happening in the fact that how his pawn was going to end up. But here, we are 5 points up all the time, and still going here. Probably, hopefully, this was a mistake here. Now, what I expected was this. Due to if you take, it is actually stalemate. Can't move absolutely anywhere, as you can see here. So you'd have to move here, but he plays his move here, which we checkmate. So we're now up to 1795. So hopefully next time we play in the rapid increase, we could get 1800 for the third time. But here we go. So thank you for watching this episode. So thank you and bye bye.